Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. In this lecture, we will discuss about the lowering sex ratio at birth and son meta-preference. Sex ratio at birth and son meta-preference. First of all, let us see what is sex ratio at birth. So, sex ratio at birth is defined as the number of girls for every 1000 boys. So, sex ratio at birth is number of girls born for every 1000 boys. Why sex ratio at birth has become an important current affair is because of its current status. So let us see what is the current status of sex ratio at birth. So according to a NITI Aayog report, sex ratio at birth has been declining. So in the year 2012-14, it was 906. So again coming to 2013-15, it was 900, and coming to 2014-16 it is 898. So here we will see that the sex ratio at birth is declining, and this report is based on NITI Aayog's findings. So we will see sex ratio at birth has been declining, and this is causing tensions. And according to the NITI Aayog's report, 17 out of 21 large states in India have seen a drop in the sex ratio at birth. So, a majority of the states, according to the report, 17 out of 21 major states or bigger states in India is showing a declining trend in regard to sex ratio at birth. And according to the report, Gujarat is the worst performing state. And Gujarat has declined in 53 points. So Gujarat is the worst performing state with regard to the report of the NITI Aayog. So what is the problem or what causes the decline in the sex ratio at birth? The first reason is preference for male child. Parents prefer to have male children than female children. So that is the reason why sex ratio has been declining. And this preference for the male child has led to killing of girl children in the womb itself. So, killing girl children in the womb. So, when more girl children are killed inside the womb itself, at birth the sex ratio will decline, or we can say that more number of boys will be born than of girl children. And this killing of female children in the womb has resulted in missing women or missing girls. And according to some report, 63 million women are missing, or 63 million girls are missing in India. So, this missing women or missing girls refers to those children who are killed inside the womb of the mother for having a preference to have a boy child. If we observe till the 1970s, female infanticide was more. What is meant by infanticide? Infants are those children below the age of 1 year. So, children were killed when they were below the age of 1 year. So, infanticide is killing children less than age of 1 year. So, female infanticide was more during the 1970s, or till the 1970s, infanticide was more. And later, after the 1970s, what has happened? After 1970s, sex selection technologies. So, certain technologies were found out in order to determine the sex of the child. Examples are amniocentesis. Amniocentesis tests the amniotic fluid in the mother's womb and determine the child's sex. So, this helps in determining the child's sex, and if the child is found to be a girl, then the child would be killed inside the womb itself. So this is amniocentesis. And after 1970s, ultrasound scans also became popular. So ultrasound scans also can determine the sex of the child, and if the child was found to be a girl, the child was killed inside the womb itself. So when a child is killed inside the womb, it leads to a decline in the sex ratio at birth. And according to 2010 report from the Public Health Foundation of India, pHFI, or the Public Health Foundation of India, the report says that these technologies, the technologies that determine the sex of the child or that reveal the sex of the child, these technologies gave son preference, which means girls were given less preference or no preference, sons were given more preference, and as a result of this, girl children were killed inside the womb of the mother. In the year 1994, Prenatal Diagnostics Techniques Acts, or the PDTA, Prenatal Diagnostics Techniques Act, was passed And what was this act? This act punished healthcare professionals for telling the sex of the child to the expectant parents. So, if the healthcare professionals or medical practitioners revealed the sex of the child to the expectant parents, they were punished under this act. And this was passed in the year 1994. Later on, this act was amended and it became Prenatal Conception and Prenatal Determination Act, PC-PNDT. So PDTA was amended and became PC-PNDT. But if we look at the sex ratio at birth, we will understand that PC-PNDT, this act is a failure in India because there is a declining trend in the sex ratio at birth. Which means if the sex ratio at birth has to decline, what should happen? The girl children must have been killed inside the womb of the mother. So, if girl children is killed inside the womb of the mother, the sex should be determined prior to the delivery. So, we can say that PC-PNDT has been a failure in the country. Asian Center for Human Rights has given a report in November 2016. And according to this report, between the years 1994 and 2014, around 2,266 cases of infanticide were recognized in India. So, 2,266 cases of infanticide. And this report also says that 2021 reports of abortion were also recognized in India, and this is between a period of 1994 and 2014. So, from 1994, we will observe that the Prenatal Diagnostics Techniques Act, PDTA, Prenatal Diagnostics Techniques Act has been implemented in India, and since then the report is with regard to 1994 to 2014, there has been 2021 abortion cases reported in India. So, we can say that the act has been a failure in India. Coming back to the pHFI, Public Health Foundation of India report 2010, the report says that the act has become a failure because we were unable to prepare stronger cases against the violators and secure convictions for them. So, we can say that the act has not been properly put into practice, or violators are not given stringent punishment or convictions, and that is the reason this act has become a failure in India. So now let us see what are the impact of declining sex ratio at birth. First of all, this will create surplus men in the country. Surplus men means more number of men than that of female. Secondly, it will lead to skewed sex ratio. Skewed sex ratio means less number of girls for boys. So, this will lead to violence against both men and women, and also issues like human trafficking. So, this will lead to violence, human trafficking, etc. Again, this can also lead to import of brides. Import of brides from other states which have more number of girls. So, this will lead to import of brides, and this import of brides from other states will lead to exploitation of these brides. So, all these issues are associated with skewed sex ratio, or we can say lowering sex ratio at birth. So, what is the way forward, or what is the solution for this? Lowering sex ratio is a result of killing children inside the womb, or killing girl child inside the womb, and this is because the parents are aware, or it is revealed to the parents the sex of the child before birth itself. So, what is the solution to overcome this? The solution is to implement the PC-PNDT more stringently. We have seen that Prenatal Conception and Prenatal Determination Act has been a failure in India because it is not able to bring stringent punishments or to secure convictions, and that is the reason it has become a failure. So, implementation of this act more stringently and increasing the terms of the punishment and securing conviction for the violators can be an important step in this regard. Again, the Drugs Technical Advisory Board decided that ultrasound machines should be included under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. So, according to the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, the imports can be regulated. So, this is included under the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, and this will help in regulating the import of ultrasound machines. So, this is the way forward. Now, coming to Sun Metapreference. this term son metapreference became more popular with the release of the economic survey. And economic survey in a chapter, and in the economic survey you will see one chapter is completely dedicated for this issue, and in detail it discusses the son metapreference. Here we will see what is son metapreference and what are the reasons for that. First of all, what is son metapreference? So parents may choose to keep having children until they get the desired number of sons. So until they get desired number of sons, they will have children. They will choose to have children. So this is known as son metapreference. So parents need a particular number of sons, and till they attain the number of sons, they will keep having children, and this phenomena is known as son metapreference. And as a result of son metapreference, female children in the family will be devoted less resources. So female children will get less resources in the form of lesser education, lesser health care, etc. An indicator of the son metapreference is sex ratio of the last child, SRLC, or sex ratio of the last child. So if we consider the SRLC or sex ratio of the last child, it is heavily skewed in favor of boys, which says that most of the parents have boys as their last child. According to the economic survey, Meghalaya is considered as the ideal state. Why? Because when coming to Meghalaya, you will see that sex ratio at birth and sex ratio of the last child, both these are at benchmark levels. So Meghalaya is a case which have performed well in this regard, because sex ratio at birth as well as sex ratio of the last child is at benchmark level in Meghalaya. And if we consider the states like Kerala, which have performed well with regard to sex ratio at birth, if we consider the case of Kerala, sex ratio at birth is performing well. But coming to SRLC or sex ratio of the last child, states like Kerala who performs well with regard to sex ratio at birth shows higher son metapreference. So we can say that states like Kerala have skewed SRLC or sex ratio of the last child, even though they have a good sex ratio at birth. They have a benchmark sex ratio at birth, but when it comes to sex ratio of the last child, they also exhibit a son metapreference. And coming to states like Punjab, Haryana, etc., these states exhibit a different pattern, that is sex ratio at birth as well as sex ratio of the last child. Both this shows skewed results. So in states like Punjab and Haryana, sex ratio at birth is also low, sex ratio of the last child is also giving preference to son. And coming to the son metapreference, families where a son is born is more likely to stop having children than families who have got a girl child. So this stoppage is also an indicator of son metapreference. And girls whose parents wanted a boy but instead had a girl. The parents wanted a boy but they had a girl, and this is known as unwanted girls. So these girls are termed as unwanted girls because the parents wanted to have boy children but they had girl. So these girls are termed as unwanted girls. And coming back to the previous term we discussed, that is missing girls. Missing girls means girls who were killed inside the womb of the mother. According to estimates, missing girls or missing women account for 63 million, and when it comes to unwanted girls, according to the economic survey, unwanted girls accounts for 21 million in India. So both these terms, unwanted girls and missing girls, are important. And according to the economic survey, the survey puts forward certain reasons for this unwanted girls. So let us see what are the reasons. First one, patrilocality. So what is meant by patrilocality? Patrilocality means that daughters or girls will have to move to their husband's house after marriage. So that is one reason. Second one is patrilineality. It means the property and the identity of a family will be moved or transferred to sons. So this refers to property and identity. Identity can be in the form of surname, because sons usually carry the surname of the family, not daughters. They get married to another family and they take the surname of that family. So property and identity is being transferred to the sons in Indian society. Then thirdly, dowry. Dowry is an extra cost for the parents. So they fear that if a girl child is born, they will have to give dowry to the child when she is getting married. So that is an extra burden for the parents and they prefer to have sons. Also reasons like old age support from sons. In India, it is believed that sons take care of the parents when they are old. So old age care or old age support is usually in India given from the part of sons. So that is also one reason parents wants to have son. And also according to Indian culture, the rituals of the parents are done by the sons or male children. So rituals are also done by male children in the family. So that is also one reason why parents prefer to have sons, or at least they go for son metapreference. They at least want one boy child in the family because of all these reasons.